Hello.
Hi.
Hello. Welcome. Welcome. Very welcome. We are here with Siris Rivas-Verdejo. Did I pronounce it well?
Yes, you did. You did a great job.
Thank you so much. Who is a great facilitator and she's quite original in her approach to the energy. And I'm here to interview her just to introduce her to the Italian world about herself, about what she is, and what she's bringing to us in Italy next year. We'll be
Yeah.
beginning next year in a very fairly fairy way, that is with
Yeah. That's a great way of putting it.
yes. This is yeah, because we are preparing a series of classes on a lake of Garda, which
Mhm.
is a fairy place on its own. And now, here is the first question for you, Siris. So, can you just tell us more about this wonderful being who decided to come to this planet, chose to come to this planet and take the name of Siris Rivas-Verdejo?
Gosh, I recently I actually acknowledged another piece of that, like what was going on with my choice. Um, I came in and I chose my beautiful parents and I chose this life and my body was born in Puerto Rico. Um, and I love the body that I got from the parents that I chose. So grateful for that. And thank you, body. And the other piece that I got more recently is that I showed up so that I could actually travel with my mom and create different businesses with her and with other people. And she pulls me up and then I pull her up. We kind of take turns inspiring each other and inviting other people to something else. And that was something that we both were just like, wow, you picked me for this. Like she just acknowledged that even just this week. So you are getting fresh. You're getting it fresh off the press.
Wow.
Um, this awareness. It's uh it's been a really interesting ride. I have had a lot of experiences where for most of my life where I was very separate from my body, even though I wanted to be connected with my body. Like I loved bodies. I was very confused by people's points of views about bodies, and the parents I chose have amazing capacities with bodies. My dad is a coach for basketball and tennis and volleyball. He's an artist, so he would paint and draw bodies all the time. He's a Renaissance man, really. He just does a lot of different things. He's a poet, he's a composer, a writer, and a teacher as well. And then my mom is a dancer and she's a cook and she's an amazing cook. So all these different things that can nurture our bodies, that our bodies can ask for. I picked these two amazing people to plant some seeds and give me some information about it. And yet at the same time, I get that my gifts and capacities with bodies are different from theirs. And but it created this platform for me to start asking more questions about my body. And it was really helpful to get some of these seeds and play around with them and realize that there's a bunch of stuff that they were told about bodies that was not true. And so when they passed it on to me, I started trying to implement it and it didn't work for me. But maybe
Mhm.
that's the case for some of the people that are listening to this. It's like how many of us are told that this is what's supposed to work for your body, this medication, this type of exercise, this activity, being around these type of people,
Yeah.
doing these types of things for other people with your body. And is that actually working for you? What is that creating for your body? For me, I went through decades of a lot of pain and sickness and illness and anxiety and depression with my body, or maybe because I wasn't with my body. And now that I'm on the other side of that and I've chosen all these different things that have led to a place where I can have that movement. Like, I love playing tennis and I love dancing and I love, I love being around wonderful smells in the kitchen. And sometimes I cook, sometimes I don't, and travel and all these different things, including creating my business and the business of living, of choosing each day, okay, what's going to work? What's going to create more for me and for my body, is taken all of these choices, and one after the other, and committing over and over again, day by day, hey, I'm going to be with my body now. Well, I didn't even know that that was something to choose before this adventure, this journey that I've gone on.
Wow, that's wonderful, because you're talking about your body as a real partner.
Yeah.
And it's not to be taken for granted, because nobody ever teaches us to look at our body like that.
Mm-hmm. I wasn't taught that. And these are from two people who had amazing gifts and capacities with bodies, and yet they were having a lot of pain in their body, and they were having a lot of anxiety and stress. And I was seeing that, and I was like, wait, like, there's got to be something else here. I don't want to be on medication for anxiety. I don't want to be on medication for depression. I don't want to be taking asthma and allergy medicine year round and still being sick and still being in pain all the time. Like, this isn't going to work, because the doctors are saying, oh, just keep going, just keep taking it, it'll be fine. And I was like, this is not helping. One, it's not getting to the core issue of what's going on. And it's doing other things, like, messing with my liver. This is not like me counting pills. I had this whole pill case of all these different medications. At one point, I was taking 18 different supplements and tinctures and things to improve my immune system naturally, because a lot of the pharmaceutical medication that they were giving me was just this like Band-Aid, you
Oh, I
know?
see. Mm-hmm.
And so it went from 5 or 6 things that they were telling me to take but weren't really helping, to vitamins and supplements that actually improve things, and it kept shifting. It wasn't like this permanent recipe or prescription. It was like, oh, okay, now you're here, you're at a different place, your body and you have evolved, you're more in sync. Okay, now we're going to shift it to this. Okay, now you're here. Okay, great, now we're going to shift it to this, and now we're going to do these diet changes, and now we're going to do these cleanses. And then finally, after, I think it took me about 2 years, and now I know that it can be even faster. But back then, that was fast for me. That was very fast compared to 15 years of pain and suffering and sickness. 2 years was like, boom.
Yeah.
When everyone said, you're just going to have to do this for the rest of your life. Just accept it. And I was like, I don't accept that. Like, that's not going to work.
It's not about accepting here.
Right. So yeah, there's something else different when we can actually connect with our bodies, and we can actually have fun with it,
Yeah.
and know and use our bodies and partner with our bodies to actually create what we know is possible. And the little girl in me always knew this was possible. I didn't know anyone else that was really choosing it.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's not an unusual choice. Just because we see our body as a sort of tool, which is useful as long as it is healthy, but when it is not, it becomes a pain in the neck. Really.
Yeah, and I had that. I had pain in the neck, and I had pain in the knees, and pain in the back, and everywhere.
Yeah.
And the other thing too is it's not really. I actually hesitate to say that it's a tool. It can be, in the sense that it has its own awareness, and you can receive awareness from it. But I actually like the whole partner, like you mentioned, and like, it's my best friend now, and that wasn't the case. And after having a lot of friends that took me for granted, that used me like a tool, like, friendships that, okay, I would be there for them during their moving for apartments and helping them move when they were sick, when they needed something with homework or projects, when their boyfriends broke up with them, like all these different things. I was there for them. And then when the same things were going on in my life, or worse, they weren't really there for me. I was like, well, who can I really count on?
Yeah. Yeah.
Who can I really count on all the time? Oh, wow. I can count on my body all the time. It's
Yes.
always willing to be there
Mm-hmm.
for me if I'm willing to receive it and receive with it. And those moments when I was depressed, those moments when I felt really alone, be it when I was traveling around the world or when I'm just in a crowd, in the mall and you're wanting to walk around and you're like, who are these people? I feel so different.
Mm-hmm.
I feel so out of place. Guess who's there? Your body.
Yes.
And then it's like, all right, buddy, well, how much fun are we going to have now? Let's go.
What can we do now just to have fun?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
that's it. That's your main invitation. Do you perceive this is your main invitation here on this planet?
That and how you can use your body to create your life and the businesses you'd like to create. Like, I'm really fortunate that it's fun for me to have multiple revenue streams and to have multiple businesses that are running. And I wouldn't be able to do that effectively, successfully, and by making a profit if I didn't connect with my body. A lot of people do that from their heads. And if that works for you, cool. That didn't work for me. So as soon as I got into my head, I could only really have one business running at a time or or a couple revenue streams from this one business. But now I have the business of living, which is a huge part of my life. And that's the platform that all the other businesses are created upon.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's, okay, would you like the brick and mortar business? Do you want an online business? Do you want one that involves travel or not? Do you want one that involves, one-on-one interaction or more group, like larger interaction? I specialize in working with people who have all these amazing gifts and capacities that are a bit ADD and OCD both. Like, they're very detail oriented in some things, but then they get easily distracted because there's so many different interests or there's so many different things that are pulling at them for their attention, be it their families, their partners, their kids, but also all their different hobbies and the things that light them up. And so what if you didn't have to just choose one
Yeah.
of those things? Like, okay, it's only this business or it's only my family right now. Like, I'm with my family and we're talking business. Like, my brother's an entrepreneur too. My mom, and it's not even entrepreneur as in like he has an entrepreneurial spirit. Like, he's always thinking outside of the box. He's very creative. He gives people ideas. So even if it works for you to have one or two jobs, one or two businesses, like when you are contributing to other people, like, that's part of having an entrepreneurial spirit to me, is that simultaneous gifting and receiving. When you're like, oh, have you considered this? When you're asking people questions and you're engaged and curious about their life, that opens up doors for them in the business of their living and maybe in their actual businesses that are giving them money. But for me, I connect with my body with all of that. And so some people with the business of their living, they've cut off the family part, or they've cut off their dating, their sexualness. That's all part of the business for me. I date my business. I seduce my business and I let it seduce me. And what it's really doing is, it's not just seducing me as a being, it's seducing my body. And so there is this flirtation that's happening there with all aspects of my life. But the only way for you to really do that in a way that's joyful and clear and pleasurable is by actually being present with your body and listening to it while you're making these choices. And then knowing that at any moment you can also choose something else.
Oh, wow. This is quite great. I mean, it's awesome the way that you can just go beyond the structures of this reality, because it's not so usual to listen to somebody talking about seducing the business or being seduced by the business without being overwhelmed or, I don't know, how you say, pressed by business. And so
Yeah.
this is quite
Well, for me,
different.
that's what makes it more fun. It's like, what if it's wooing you? What
Yeah.
if it's actually trying to get to know you? And then what if you could actually try to get to know it instead of already coming to a conclusion, like, this is who you are, business, and this is what you need to be for me. and this is who I need to be in the world for you to be like profitable or successful. Like, and then you start putting yourself in a box and you put your business in a box. And even just saying it right now, it's like, oh, like that's
Oh my goodness.
like that's not so fun.
Yeah.
And then that's, you know, that's not going to really make you money either. But
Yeah.
if you actually continually get it to know it, and you're willing to continue to be like, okay, let's not assume that this is just because of what we decided in our business yesterday, that this is what we're going to decide today. Like, is that working for us? And that's what's effective with relationship too, right? And dating, it's like, all right, well, what's actually going to work for both of us now? And I do
Wow.
that with my business too.
Well, talking about dating and seducing. Uh,
Mm.
so, what would you do to seduce us as Italians to,
Beyond what I'm already doing, you mean?
yes, yes, beyond that, just to come to your classes on the Lake of God at the beginning of January, sorry, the last year, that is, oh my goodness, I'm making
Yeah.
confusions in the time. So just seduce us Italians to your classes. What would you say?
Gosh, I actually am going to invite anyone who watches this to message me and ask me anything that they would like to ask me about any area of my life, from body stuff to dating and relationships to business and money. Ask me. Part of what I find to be really enjoyable and fun when I'm creating classes with people is for me to just not resist anything. And anyone that shows up and messages me, be willing to have no barriers and no walls up. And so if you're willing to ask anything out of me, I'm willing to give it. I'm willing to give it to you energetically, but you have to be willing to ask for it first. And so I'm wondering what you could ask for from me and from the energies of these classes, even before I get to Italy, so that it can already start contributing to you, so that we can already start building a rapport, maybe flirt a little,
Yes.
maybe seduce each other a little bit, but have a bit of a play. And I'm willing to play with you before I get there in January. Are you willing to play with me?
Yes, I am. So I'm the first. I know that there are
You're signed up?
lots of
Okay.
people. I'm signed up. I know that there are lots of people waiting for this. So thank you so
Yeah.
much. Thank you so much. Just one last question on the tools of access you are using. I mean, because
Mm-hmm.
you have been through lots of things in your life. You didn't pick up just access tools. But what is
Yeah.
about the access tools which helped you the most, or which seduced you most, or maybe which pushed you to play more and ask more?
Gosh. Well, first to clarify something, so our classes in Italy have a different tools, including access tools. So the body process classes are access consciousness body process classes. And then the movement and art class and the fantastical creature class that we have, that's actually a melding of a lot of different tools, including shamanism and tantra and some of the access tools. So I really want to acknowledge that it's a contribution of like a synthesis of a lot of different systems. And I think that's what makes it really dynamic, is that I'm not excluding anything, just like we were talking about not excluding anyone from the class that would really like to have something different. When it comes to the access consciousness tools, I'm so grateful for them. It really took everything I was doing up until that moment to another level. And I like the speed of it. I'm very fast, and I was getting very impatient. As soon as I started getting better in my health, I was like, oh my gosh, let's do something else. Let's do something more. And one of the tools that made that faster for me right away was asking, does this belong to me? Who does this belong to? um, as soon as you ask, who does this belong to, if it gives you the awareness of, wait, anything that's not mine, I can return it to sender with consciousness attached. I don't have to hold on to it. And that's one of the things that I'd been asking for years before I actually discovered Access Consciousness. And some of you might have heard me say this before, I used to describe myself as a container of other people's stuff. And I was just like, I just want a way to empty out the container. I'm just full of other people's stuff. And then this tool came in, and it was like, oh my gosh, here it is. Whoosh. And I just emptied out, and I just returned all the stuff that I was picking up on, the feelings, the anxiety, the sadness that I thought was mine, and I was taking medication for. It wasn't mine. I was just aware of other people that were sad. I was aware of other people that were anxious, angry, things like that. And so I could just return that, and then I could have me again. And I didn't need to know who it was that it belonged to. I didn't need to identify it and catalog it or blame them or blame myself for taking it on. It was just, bye, bye. And
Yeah, that's freedom.
and that just, it is freedom. And it actually helped me realize that the separation from the stuff that I was unconsciously using to create distance between me and my body. So I thought I had to protect myself from all this awareness, and my body was the one that was like showing up all the symptoms of all of this awareness. And I'm like, you're aware. And so like my body, thank you for awareness. That isn't actually true for me. And that's been such a gift.
Yeah.
Been such a gift.
This is to be born again.
Every time, with every choice, it is. It's like it's like coming out of the womb each time your way, in a way that's actually going to be on your terms and not anyone else's.
Oh, that's really awesome. That's really awesome. And so thank you for this time you dedicated to us to let us know you better and get your amazing energy, because, well, I'm really, really excited and enthusiastic about taking part in your taking part in your classes. I'm looking forward to it. So thank you so much, Siris, for this. And
you're most welcome.
And be aware. Be aware of us coming.
Yeah.
Okay.
Be on the lookout and message me, like I said, if you dare.
Yes. Ask her. She knows, and you know. This would be a great claim. So thank you so much for this great interview, and we are waiting for you in Italy, and we'll talk to you soon. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Siris.
Loredana.
Bye.